ごめんね素直じゃなくて夢の中なら言える思考回路はショート寸前今すぐ会いたいよ泣きたくなるよなムライ電話もできないみんなだって純情どうしようハートは万華鏡月の光に導かれ何度も巡り合う星座の瞬き数え占う恋の行方同じ国に生まれたのミラクルロマンス信じているのミラクルロマンス
Hey guys, welcome back to Moonie Thoughts. I'm Hellenjane, and with me is my lovely co-host Katie.
Hi guys.
So, I got trolled. I remember that we talked about the TV earrings of Sailor Moon Crystal. Apparently I was wrong.
Yeah, there is a slight bit of confusion as to when the TV airings will actually begin.
Yeah. As this is going to be uploaded, it is going to be up on the 1st of April. I'm not kidding. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's actually the first episode is going to be aired on the 1st of April.
Which is the same day that this is going up.
Yep. We will be showing you what stations, probably around about now, what stations are going to air it, what time it's going to be aired. Sadly, it's 24/7, well, the 24-hour clock, not the 12 p.m. clock, with all the other dates. So if you're listening from Japan, these are the dates that they are airing on your stations. And also, as you've been shown as well, is the new visual that's been released. And it's a really, really nice one too.
So if you can actually look at the video now, I know some people like to put it on in the background, but if you want to take a look at the video for a second, we have the new visual in.
So let's get straight into the episodes.
Alright, and before we start, I want to make a small note that we're really trying to trim down the time of this segment, the episode discussions. So, and we're still experimenting with how to do that. So in this case, we've really taken out most of the episode recap, and we're only talking about discussion points about comparisons between the manga and the first anime and stuff like that. If you guys really liked the episode recapping, let us know, and we'll try to put that in and balance it another way. But we don't know what you guys want to hear unless you guys tell us. So make sure to let us know.
And also keep in mind that since the episodes are getting more jam-packed, the list is going to get longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
So we're going to try our best to cut it down as much as we can without chucking out all the plot.
Right.
Yeah. So the first one is episode 16. Which we are picking up from when Sailor Mars got kidnapped.
Yes, the first of the kidnappings. No one's taking it very well.
Nope. And of course, Chibi-Usa has this dream, and some of you guys probably recognize who's speaking when she's talking to her mum and dad.
Mm-hmm. If you listen to the voices, observant watchers will probably pick up on who those voices belong to. If you don't already know, which most of you probably do.
Yep. Just to let you know that we're picking up from when Chibi-Usa is in Mamo-chan's apartment.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Mamo-chan, that tuxedo mask puppet is adorable. I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really cute.
And when it's talking with Luna and they're both trying to cheer up Chibi-Usa, it's stupid cute. They should make one of those so we can make it a merch of the podcast.
Yes.
A little tuxedo mask puppet.
That would be so cute. Togi, if you're listening to this, that is our suggestion. Make puppets. Please
make a little tuxedo mask puppet for everyone to wiggle around and make talk.
And also for the first time in Act 2, Luna P speaks.
Mm-hmm. Using her little Luna P voice, and she's small lady, which I just thought was kind of an because that's not, for a while I thought small lady was a title that Chibi-Usa had, but that's apparently actually her name. Her actual name is Small Lady, and that's kind of unfortunate.
So that's why they've given her the nickname in Japanese Chibi-Usa and in English Rini.
Yeah, because I guess her full name is like Princess Small Lady Usagi.
Yep.
So she usually gets called Usagi, which gets shortened to Chibi-Usa. Mm-hmm. And also, in the manga, after Chibi-Usa introduces Luna P, Mamoru gets a feeling of some sort of weird recollection of something, and he feels like something is swishing around him. And according to the illustration, it looks like hair, like Princess or Queen Serenity's hair swishing around him, and he can't really figure out what's going on. And that's when he notices Chibi-Usa's crystal.
Meanwhile, Mamo-chan and Chibi-Usa was interacting. The other three Senshis, which is Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, was communicating to Luna from the lunar base, and Luna is relaying what she has observed from Chibi-Usa. Keep in mind that earlier on in the episode, both Luna and Mamo-chan told Usagi that they will keep an eye on them. Yeah, they were, because Usagi had accused Chibi-Usa of possibly being allied with the enemy. And so Luna was talking to the other Senshi in the base saying, I don't think she is. And another scene that was cut out of the anime entirely, that only exists in the manga, is that after discussing their plans in the base, they go back to Rei's school to try to get some information on those nuns with the Mark of the Black Moon clan. And they talk to the Supernatural Research Club again, and Asanuma is there, the Kohai of Mamoru. And he has a flashback about when he first met Mamoru and how one time he saw Mamoru healing himself after being injured in a sports game. I think it was soccer. And between that and his recent fixation on UFO photographs and other supernatural appearances, he kind of suspects that Mamoru isn't human. Yeah, he's a really, really funny character. Very quiet, but when something supernatural comes up, man, he will find out.
Yeah, he seems to be like kind of like one of those serious kids who really takes himself really seriously and is really businesslike about things, but then you get him on that supernatural stuff, and he's really into it.
Mm.
Now back to things that actually were in the episode itself.
We jump into the Dark Moon again.
And on a personal note, I would just like to say that now that I'm hearing more of Saphir's lines, I can really hear Nagisa's voice from Free, because they have the same voice actor. I can definitely tell they're the same guy. I know the guy who did Rin is also, I think, Diamande, but I sort of don't hear Rin. His voice is different enough. And not to say that the guy who did Nagisa and is doing Saphir isn't as skilled. It's just his voice is similar enough that I can tell it's the same guy, and it's kind of funny. Because the characters are so different.
Mm. So now, we get to learn a bit more about Amy in the anime. Usually we don't hear about her parents that much, but
her mom was mentioned a few times in the first anime.
But nothing about her father.
Not really, not that I can remember.
So, in Crystal, which probably is pulled out from the manga as well.
Yes, it is.
Amy's parents are actually divorced. When her father was around, his profession was a transitional Japanese artist. And he taught Amy how to swim and play chess, which is one of Amy's hobbies.
Which is kind of interesting because you hear so little about her father, but he taught her how to play chess and how to swim, which are like, what do you think of when you think of Amy? Smart and water. And both of those things came from her dad.
It's kind of like a nice backstory that we don't hear that often in the Moonie universe. I mean, the only things that we hear about her father is the manga and now Crystal.
Yeah.
And
I think it's kind of more of a plot tool, as in, why are all these kids running around with no adult supervision? They'll just kill off or separate a lot of their parents, so they're not around very often. But moving on in the show, one thing that just kind of bothered me is that when Berthier appears on television as, this famous dowsing expert to challenge Amy and call her out to play this game, she's wearing, that light blue bustier that she wears that's pretty revealing on the top, and that's one thing. But in the manga, she at least put a skirt on over it. And in Crystal, she's just wearing a suit jacket and her weird leotard swimsuit thing, and she isn't wearing any pants. And Berthier, if you're going to go on human TV, you need to wear some pants. That's just how it's done. And that bothered me.
Or some leggings. Leggings will be fine, but...
Yeah, get some jeggings, wear something. I mean, in the manga, she just had a short pencil skirt. It wasn't that much more, but at least an effort was made.
Yeah.
It bugged me. Berthier, wear pants.
Be like your other sisters and be modest. Oh dear.
Something that I really liked, and I guess why they kind of cut out and changed scenes earlier around was to make room for this, was that when Amy and Berthier do meet up and do start playing, she really shakes Amy's confidence by saying, oh, well, you're just afraid you're going to lose more friends because everyone in your life, you've lost everyone already. You lost your father, you lost other friends, you never even had friends before, and it even shows a flashback to her losing the Moon Kingdom. And it just really... And it shows little Amy watching her dad walk out the door, and little baby Amy is so cute, and it's so sad. But then Usagi, being the spaz that she is, starts cheering for her from the stands, and Makoto and Minako and the official guy have to like hold her down.
Oh
and
dear.
That brings Amy's confidence back, and I just thought that was a really good way to assert the development that her character has gone through when she did used to be lonely and afraid of losing everyone, and she didn't really have friends, and the people she did care about weren't there anymore. But it just shows that Sailor Moon and her natural ability to bring people together and bring out the best in people has really changed Amy for the better and made her not so afraid of losing people and of getting close to people, because now she just cherishes what she has so much that she isn't afraid of it anymore. And I really appreciated that.
Usagi always cheers everyone up.
Exactly.
Even if she feels like down,
Uh-huh.
she always makes an effort to cheer somebody else up.
Uh-huh.
Even if it's like a small argument or something like that, or her being a klutz, she always cheers the person up.
That there are times when I think Usagi can be a bit whiny and be a bit over the top, but I could never dislike Usagi because of how loving and how much she genuinely cares about people, and how much she'll do to make sure that her loved ones are happy. But it also reminded me that in the original anime and the episode that's roughly comparable to this, that same theme kind of went into play a little bit, because Amy talks to this old chess master guy about how she's made some friends recently and they've become important to her, which is interesting that Crystal drew on that and not in the manga, because in the manga they don't even actually play. Amy just shows up to confront Berthier and they get right into a fight. They don't actually play or talk or anything like that. So I appreciated that they drew that aspect from the original anime and not the manga.
And they probably want to show the older generation, like us two, that they still remember the original anime.
Yeah.
That they haven't forgotten all about it. And I would love to see that more often as well.
Yeah.
That's more. Even the smallest things that connects to the classic.
I get that they were trying to go more for the manga this time, but seeing a little bit of drawing from both sources is really cool.
Now getting back on track. When Amy wins, the battle wasn't over and it ended up being as a trap. Which ended up that the goggles and Mike returned to our favourite water Senshi.
Well, unless your favourite is Neptune, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think that she has goggles. I don't think that she has goggles and a mic. She only has her mirror.
Yeah.
But
I love her goggles. They're so stylish.
Yeah. Because I can't remember that the classic anime had the mic as well. I know they had the goggles and the computer, which also made a return, but I'm not sure about the mic.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Because I know...
We'll have to look that up. There'll probably be an annotation somewhere around here about if she ever had the mic in the original anime.
Yeah, because I know that the manga has the mic as well. So... we will find out. And we will let you know if it does have the mic or not in the classic anime.
And just as a small aside about her attack, Shine Snow Illusion. Again, since it's the first time she's doing it, it gets a more traditional magical girl background. And a small note, in the manga, it was kind of another hazy, misty smokescreen attack, kind of like Mercury Bubbles was. Whereas in Crystal, they changed it to actually create illusions that Mercury, there was 2 or 3 of her.
Mm.
Not that it fooled Berthier anyway, but it was a bit different.
Mm. Then, of course, the other Senshi came out. And by the time they got out, Mercury was in her, I don't say, prison, but it's...
Water sphere?
Yeah.
There we go.
Similar to what Mars had, but instead of fire, it was water. And she was trying to fight to breathe.
And despite Sailor Moon destroying Berthier, Rubia still swoops down and snatches up Mercury before they can break her out of the water sphere. And the Senshi are down to 3.
Mm-hmm. And by the looks of it, these prisons are unaffected to any other attacks that break them free. Because one of the others, I think, yeah, it was Mercury was trying to get Mars out of prison but failed.
Yeah, because she was trying to use water to put the fire out and it wouldn't work.
Then, of course, this one, it was another Senshi trying to break out Sailor Mercury, but that failed. Then we get to the ending. What I noticed, I don't know if it will, I need to double check, and we put an annotation below, that the ending is altered to see more scenery of, I'm not sure it was Earth Kingdom or the Moon Kingdom.
Yeah, wherever they're walking. But I think you're right. I think it just shows a little bit more detail and like the night sky reflected in the water and stuff. I think they just added more.
Because I think now, since Quantum's finished and the Moon Kingdom is restored and everyone and Earth was repaired and everything, my theory is that since that's over, now they have a bit more room to alter it. Like, the opening, they changed it to fit Act 2.
Right.
They probably did the exact same thing to the ending.
Just touched it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Make it a bit different.
Now we're going to jump into episode 17. And we are going to have a small break and talk about a location that you've probably seen already. It's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There is this park that was shown more in Act 2. That when one of the times that it was raining, Motomu and Yusaki went to look for her and it was raining. And they found Chibi-Usa in a park. According to moonkitty.net, it's an actual place. I will put the name of the park in the annotation. But it not only featured in Crystal and in the manga, but it is also featured in the classics, starting from Sailor Moon R onwards.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
That there's an actual location in there.
The other 2 locations is also real. One of them of Tokyo Tower.
Right.
And there is... And of course that is also real. Yep.
After I hung up to, it went dead.
There's a movie. It shows up again in Sailor Stars.
Mm-hmm.
We will go over these places into one of our big topics later on this year. But just for this, we will put down the park, the directions if you are planning to go to Japan, and a video of it.
Alright, will someone go there and let us know what it's like?
We are in episode 17. Episode? Episode. I can't pronounce tonight. We start off with, of course, Usagi more moping, and Chibi-Usa decided to cheer her up by giving her the puppet that we mentioned earlier.
Exactly. See, if they need to make them, they make everyone happy.
Yeah. So
I just thought it was nice that there was a scene of Chibi-Usa not being annoying and terrible. Because it makes me actually like her a little bit when she's being okay.
Yeah. Which goes into when she met Maramu at the arcade and Chibi-Usa decided to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Usagi.
That is when Sailor Venus gets a little alert on her transformation stick because she's out with Jupiter and it starts beeping at her, and she goes to look at the arcade because that means someone is doing really well on the Sailor V game. And who is it but Chibi-Usa, who is totally rocking the Sailor V game.
Yep.
It's a bit implied in the anime at that point because Mamoru kind of looks over at Luna P and looks a bit suspicious. But in the manga, Mamoru just says flat out, I'm pretty sure that the reason Chibi-Usa is winning all these games is because Luna P is letting her. It's changing up the computers and letting her win these games.
Yeah. Speaking of Luna P, in the manga, there is a scene where Chibi-Usa plays with Luna P to entertain herself.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see...
The context is that she's run away again because she saw Usagi's mom and dad being happy together, and that made her miss her parents, so she ran away again.
And she always runs out when it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time it's raining.
She runs away when it's raining, or it starts raining because she runs away? But either way, so yeah, she's run away and she's playing with Luna P again.
And in the manga, we see the first glimpse of Pluto in a hazy memory.
Mm-hmm. That's the first actual picture we get. And even in the anime, you can hear Pluto's voice reminding Chibi-Usa how to use the spell that turns Luna P into an umbrella. And once again, Pluto!
And it showed when Luna P was turned into an umbrella, Dust came out, she was laughing, and a kid spotted her, and the parents, and the mother didn't believe the child.
Mm-hmm. That kind of reminds me of Winx, how none of the adults could see the pixies. And that little kid in the park was like, Mom, look at the little weird things. And the parent was like, whatever.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I totally forgot about that, yeah. But comparing the two with season 2 with the pixies and the girls seeing Luna P turn to umbrella and Doves come out, I actually never thought of that comparison until Katie brought it up.
It's a strikingly similar scene. I wonder if Winx was a little bit inspired by that. We get another glimpse of the Dark Moon being all, creepy, and Diamante and Sapphire arguing about tactics.
And this is roundabout in the manga as well that we find out that Deminda is in love with Neo Queen Serenity.
Or at least you're starting to figure out he has some kind of weird hang-up about Neo Queen Serenity, because he was saying he can't wait to see her face when he shatters the crystal. And then
there was a creepy hologram. And this is not like any random hologram. It was of Queen Serenity. There is like some. I remember there's like a similar position in the classic that she was on her knees, hands beside, and working up from kind of like a daze.
Yeah,
It's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the same position, which is a nice nod back to the classic, but still it was so freaky.
Stop having holograms of people without them knowing about it. That's creepy.
It was, like I said, a nice nod, but in a creepy way.
Yeah.
And it also, I just realized it was nearly the exact same dress as the classic.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's Neo Queen Serenity's dress.
Well, close replica to it.
She's like dripping in long strings of pearls. Because, I don't know, because pretty. That is shortly followed by a scene that was cut from the anime back on Earth. Mamoru and Usagi, along with Luna and the Luna Pea Ball, are at the Crown Fruit Parlor. And Makoto comes in, and she's really dizzy because she's got this really bad cold. And which is pretty bad when you learned earlier that the scheme of the Black Moon Clan this time around is to infect people with this terrible sickness that will kill them, and then they'll replace them with droids. So, Umezuki, who, if you remember, is Motoki's little sister who works at the Crown Fruit Parlor, and Motoki take Makoto to a drugstore to get her some medicine, and the pharmacist there is Pets, the Spectre sister, who is instigating all of this, who's disguised herself as a man and is the pharmacist who's giving out medicine to deal with this sickness.
Creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, what is with people disguising themselves as guys? It's
strange that she would do that, because she disguised himself as a man to distribute the medicine. And back in Arc 1, in the Dark Kingdom arc, when Zoisite went on TV to talk about everyone finding the silver crystal, he disguised himself as a woman. And you kind of wonder why. Did you just feel like changing it up that day, I guess?
And there was, can't remember if it was in the manga or the classic anime, that Usagi uses her transformation pen to disguise herself as a guy.
Yeah, that was in the manga. In Jupiter's, in the act where Jupiter first appears, she uses her transformation pen to turn herself into a groom.
That I can understand.
Yeah.
Because
also, I just remembered Sailor V did it in her manga during one of the fights when she was facing one of the idols from the Dark Company. She turned herself into a boy idol. To clarify, neither of us are saying anything negative or bad or against anyone who is transgender or who is cisgender, but, does drag or just likes to wear clothes typically associated with the opposite gender. this is definitely not us disapproving or saying anything bad about that.
Yeah.
It is just a little note that characters who are generally, portrayed as people who generally stick to their expected gender roles in terms of clothing sometimes just like to switch up and dress as the other gender for a day as a disguise, because why not?
And in the manga, it explains why Mamoru had those like flash forwards, like seeing like, for example, when he touched Chibi-Usa's shoulder, he saw something of the future. It's one of his powers that not really addressed that much in the classic.
Right.
But in the manga, he has this power.
And it's been shown in Crystal as well. Makoto talks about it with Asanuma in her apartment. And she calls it psychometry. And it's basically the ability to sense things, like Hellenjane said, through touch. Like when he touches Chibi-Usa, he can see these visions of the future. And after the battle with Metalia, he could touch the earth and kind of get a sense of what was going on all over the earth. And it ties back with the cutscene from Act 16, where Asanuma saw him healing himself after playing soccer and getting hurt. His touch can also either heal people or be used as an attack. And so it addresses his psychometry directly in the manga.
Time skip.
Also, a little note before we do, just in case anyone missed it, Makoto's parents died in a plane crash. That's how it was in the manga as well, so that's pretty much the same.
Now we
But
go.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, time skip.
Yep, the time skip is when when Usagi and Minako decide to go and check up on their sick friend and found out that the druid was trying to take her place. Thing was,
even when even when Makoto is almost passed out for being so sick, she still kicks that thing's ass.
Yep.
That kick she does to get it off of her and it just tumbles over onto the table, so good. So good.
But because of that, she's been weakened when she faced Pierce. That sister was able to overcome her and capture her.
Yep. And just a little aside, because Sailor Jupiter has not as much of a defined element as most of the other scouts, she's associated with plants and a bit of wind and lightning. While in Crystal, her sphere that traps her is Pets' dark lightning. In the manga, she's trapped by wind, hurricane vortex, because it was supposed to be Pets' answer to her flower hurricane attack.
Pierce got destroyed like the other two, and guess who decided to show up?
Definitely not the person who's decided to show up the last two times.
That's right. Rubus appeared yet again, even though it was just a small cameo this time, to take Jupiter away, which causes more distraught to Sailor Moon.
And
And
you could really see it affecting Venus too, because Venus and Jupiter are really close.
so now it's just only the two. I wonder what they're gonna do, because in the trailer it shows that Venus was with Sailor Moon, the cats, and Tuxedo coming to the door, to the time door. The question is, how long until Venus also gets captured?
We'll just have to wait and see.
So now we are going to have our first break. Before we do, I just want to clarify, this is not an April Fool's joke. This is not the end.
Hellenjane wanted to be mean to you guys, she told me.
Yeah, but I decided not to, because the break song that we are going to use is Princess Moon. And of course, you know that this is at the end song for Moonie Thoughts, but this one is actually the full version of Princess Moon. So don't you think that we have finished yet?
Nope, we've still got lots to come.
That's right. So kick back, relax, and enjoy.
回れ回れ月のメリーゴー
welcome back. I hope that you like the full version of Princess Moon.
I hope you guys really like it, because you're going to hear it again later.
The shorter version this time.
Yes.
So let's jump right into our topic for this month, and it's on video games.
Mm-hmm.
So, both of us like playing video games. So, it kind of fitting because there is a lot of Sailor Moon games.
And because there are so many, we decided to narrow our focus onto two of the most well-known. So we're just going to cover those, but most of the Sailor Moon games were for either the Super Nintendo or the Game Boy. And there's a lot of emulators for them out. Some of them are fan translations, because very few, if even any of them, came out in English. But you guys are free to check out all the rest of the games, aside from the two we cover.
Yep, we will put the link down below, and trust me, it is long. The most recent one is the French Sailor Moon DS game. And I know it's French.
So yeah, there are quite a few Sailor Moon video games, but we're going to talk about two.
Yep.
And we split this up. We decided to each tackle one. I'm going to go in with the first one, with my game. It is Sailor Moon Super S Zenin Sanka Shuyaku Sodatsu-sen. Shuyaku Sodatsu-sen. It is a fighting game, like, Street Fighter, Dead or Alive, games like that. And also, you guys might actually want to watch the videos for these parts, because we have managed to get a hold of some screen caps from the games, if you want to take a look. Screen caps for Zenin Sanka, I will be grabbing myself from the emulation available on letsplaysnes.com. So if you notice that someone is losing really badly, that's me, because I'm terrible at fighting games. So, it was released in 1996 for the Super Nintendo. There was no English release. It was only Japan. It was a sequel to Sailor Moon S Jogai Rento Shuyaku Sodatsu-sen, which was the previous one. The plot of this game is that the Senshi are all competing to see who's going to be their new leader. In the story mode of the game, the player picks the Senshi they want to be, and then has to fight all of the others, one after the other. Once all of the others have been defeated, the player is granted status as leader. And this is actually reflected in the game's main screen, and when you begin the story mode again, the current leader is whoever you last beat him with. Only Sailor Moon, Sailor Chibi-Moon, and the Inner Senshi are playable in the story mode, even though you have to fight the Outer Senshi. But all 10 Inner and Outer Senshi are playable in the Versus and Training modes. Versus mode, there is where the Player 1 versus Player 2 option is, and Player 1 versus computer. And Training mode is where you're playing by yourself just to get a feel for character moves. The attacks are mostly based on the attacks in the Super S season, but there are a few attacks from previous seasons, and there's also a few attacks that were only in the manga. There's also a couple of original attacks that were created for the game, such as Saturn's Silence Buster, Pluto's Action Spinster, and Mars' Fire Heel Drop. There's many different stages. A small sampling includes the Dead Moon Circus, the Silver Millennium, Hikawa Shrine, and the Space-Time Door, and each stage is associated with a Senshi. Tuxedo Mask and Helios appear in the game, but they are not playable characters, and they cannot be battled. I know Tuxedo Mask, comments on the battles after they've been fought, and I could not find where Helios shows up, but I hear he does. Anyone who is familiar with fighting games or who has played this game might be aware, and anyone who even hasn't heard much about this game might even know that Sailor Chibi Moon is just infamous from this game for being really broken. She makes the game really easy. Most of her attacks are ranged, so you can stand on one side of the screen and totally blast whoever you're fighting without them being able to touch you. And because she's so short, some of the other Senshi's attacks just fly over her head. She doesn't even need to duck. And she's also the second fastest character in the game. So she's fast, you can't touch her, and she's so short nothing hits her. So, a lot of people think that Sailor Chibi Moon is, kind of the cheap character to play. And that is it for Zen and Sanka. Hellenjane wants to take it away.
Yep. The one that I chose is another well-known one. It's Sailor Moon, Another Story. And
I did want to add in a little thing right here. The screen caps that we're getting from here are courtesy of Fantasy Anime's Sailor Moon, Another Story Shrine. So, big thanks to them. We'll have a link in the description if you want to check it out. And we did use them with permission.
So, like the fighting one, it was made for this, as in Japan they call it Super Famicom.
Uh-huh.
It was released 1 year before, in 1995. However, there is no English release made. And of course, through that, there are fan translations. The plot of this well-known game, you will see the game from the perspective of Sailor Moon herself. Old enemies awaken, causing like the classic henchmen and also the monsters like the Yoma, the droids, and something that we haven't come across yet called Daimon. And because of that, the player is required to gather all the Sailor Senshis together to save this timeline because of a group called Hell Destiny. This is the main villain group of the game. Their designs is really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What they want to do is to erase the Senshi and the Silver Crystal from the timeline, because what they believe is that was a cause of all the world battles. So they want to get rid of it. The two Senshi groups, the inner and outer, must travel all over the world and go forward and backwards in time to repair the damage that Hell Destiny has caused and prevent the timeline from being rewritten entirely. Because of this time traveling nature of the game, many of the previous enemies that have been shown in the manga and the anime reappears and have to be fought again. Like, for example, there is the Dark Moon Kingdom, with Queen Beryl, the Dark Moon Clan, and of course, a character that we haven't discussed yet, called Mistress 9. The sad thing is that the story follows more of the anime than the manga, and the art assets is based on the anime styles and designs. However, this takes place after the Sailor Moon S series. So if you put in the timeline, it's Sailor Moon S, then Another Story, then Super S. The navigation is done through an overworld. This game is an RPG based game. It's not like an arcade fighting battle kind of game. When traveling to the past, which is really, really unique, is that the game offers one possible origin story for Beryl as a sage serving the royal family of Earth before that disaster happened when Metallia gained control. Because we don't know much about Beryl, so having that possibility about what her life was like is a really unique feature to the game.
Yeah, because you always kind of wonder what was Beryl doing before she did the Earth Rebellion.
And spying on the Earth Prince. The original voice cast in the Japanese version records snippets of dialogue specifically for the game, most notably for their attack names. Just like the other fighting game that was mentioned tonight, there's a few attacks only found in the manga was carried over to the game. Two of them are Mars Snake Fire and Jupiter Coconut Cyclone. And this game has exclusive characters that can be found in the game. And this is the Hellenjane group. The leader is Shaman Apsu. And she's the leader of the group. And how long the millennium exists, the more it awakens her, and she wants to get rid of it entirely. Then, this is something that is also interesting. It reminds me back to the Pretty Cool ones when there's band end Precure, which is the opposite of the Smile Pretty Cure team, and they're like the complete opposite of the characters. This is nearly the exact same thing, but for Senshis. Of course, there are 5 girls from Crystal Tokyo who believe that the world would be much more peaceful without the Neo Crystal Rain and the Senshis. So they agreed to serve Apsu in order to get rid of them. So, how was it? Each character is the complete opposite of the Senshi. The leader of the what they call the Opposito Senshi is Sin. She's Sailor Myu's opposite. Her younger brother Enshita and her pet Kishta also play an important role in this game. Then there is Nabu. Great. Yeah. This is when other shows actually helps us with our pronunciation. So sorry about that. But in this food, some of the mixers know Nabu as a guy. In Sailor Moon, Another Story, Nabu is actually a girl. And she is Sailor Mercury's opposite. Then there is Nergal, Sailor Mars's opposite. Marduk, Sailor Jupiter's opposite, and of course Ishtar, Sailor Venus's opposite. And with them there is like a new kind of like henchmen following, like monsters or henchmen. They are known as Combator, Destroyer, High Priest, and Ruin Tempest. So they are the henchmen of Hell Destiny, and of course you have to find to progress. And this game has really cool special features. Like, you get to go and collect the general stones as one of the Senshis, which, like, one Senshi will get the general that relates to them, and so on and so forth. To kind of like represent more about their relationship a bit. But able to play as this, like, part of the good Senshis is really, really cool. This game has 2 different endings. It depends which party you use to defeat the final boss. When it's viewed from its RPG elements and not the connection to Sailor Moon, many people actually believe it's a subpar game with heavy reputation, uneven combat, and exceedingly linear storyline. It's, even though that part is opinion, by looking at more of the information, that it looks really good on a movie Moonies perspective, and if you're really a die-hard fan, it's usually recommended for them to give it a try, as they appreciate it for the story more than the gameplay. But like we said, there are many other games out there. So I recommend you to go and find out more about the games yourself. Like, there's more Famicom games, more of this and that. Like I said, we put the link down below about the list, and the world's your oyster.
Yeah, if you have an emulator and a couple of ROMs and a day to kill, you could learn all about the Sailor Moon games.
And also determine what length it is for each game.
And someone who's good at fighting games, because I'm not, should play Zenin Sanka and try to fight Sailor Chibi-Moon and tell me how hard it is. Because I want to know.
And for the ones who wants to try another story, I actually want to try it myself now, since I know a bit more about it. And I suggest that you guys do the same. Go and explore these hidden gems that is not usually told about. I think it's time for another break, don't you?
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah, so we are going to let you listen to one of the live action songs from the drama. Here we go. Sung by the actual lead of PGSM, who plays Hisaki. So kick back, relax, and enjoy. And we will be back.
See you soon.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Now it's time for our usual segment, Merch of the Podcast. And this time I thought, why not just go the extra mile and look at the collector's game? What game, you might ask? The official English, as they used to call it back then, collectible card game. These days we know them as trading card games. So the main plot of this game is to band a team of scouts to face monsters, villains, and your opponent's scouts. And of course, like all TCG, like trading card games these days, there's like starter decks and boosters. And of course there are like rarity groups. Like one I saw is like commons, uncommons, rares, super rares, and I think also ultra rares as well, depending on when they got printed and when they got released. The game is based on the first two arcs of the original anime, of course Black Moon and the Dark Kingdom, those two, and more about how to play the, like, more in depth how to play the game and the card lists and everything. You can find it in the description below. And when I was actually looking at like the packs and everything, compared to like other collectibles that is really, really high up, you can actually afford them.
Really? I would not have expected that.
Yeah. Like, it depends where you look at, but when I looked on like Amazon and eBay, they was like cheap, and I was like, what? Usually they go higher than that.
Yeah.
So I will put a description, of course, the shopping guide down below, so you can have a look at it yourself. And we actually have our first merch update.
Yes. Anyone who is interested in the Pulip dolls that we previously talked about will now have even more to add to complete their collection, because a Tuxedo Common doll has been announced.
And
which is pretty fitting, considering how we were just talking about how we want that Tuxedo Mask puppet.
And it looks really, really cool. The detail is really, really amazing. And when I look at it, the accessories that comes with it is the hat and the signature mask. And by the looks of it, the red looks so close to the actual velvet that we could assume that the inside of the cape is really, really high quality.
I hope it comes with a rose. I mean, why would you make Tuxedo Mask without giving him a rose?
Yeah. We will put the updated shopping guide to the pull-up dolls, so you'll be able to see it for yourself. I was looking for the link for the park when I came across that. I'm like, what? So it was a surprise to me, and I thought, why not tell you guys about it? It's on pre-order now, so when you pre-order it and it officially gets released, let it ship to your door and add it to your collection.
I still want those Pulip dolls so bad. They're so cute.
Yeah. The other pull-up dolls are still there last time I checked, but yeah, it looks so really cool. As you've probably seen the pictures on your screen right now, you can probably see how amazing it got close to it.
Mm-hmm. It's
Nah.
really...
Yeah.
I love the detail on this.
Now, if only that the next thing that they announced is the puppet. Or do a whole lot of puppets.
Exactly. I guess a lot of plushies would look similar to the puppet, but they're not exactly the same, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that obsessive.
Yeah. I think we better wrap it up before we get off topic.
Yeah.
So, don't forget we have an email address, mooniethoughts@gmail.com. So you can send all your suggestions, feedback, thoughts of the franchise.
Tell us what you thought about the episode discussion for this month, so we know if you guys want more of the actual plot recap or if you like just more of the relevant comparison and discussion.
Because this is for you guys, remember, not for us.
And we want to do what you guys want to hear.
So next podcast is a special.
Yes.
And we are dubbing it the birthday special. And you will find out on the 6th of May for us Southerners, and for you northern people on the 5th of May.
Which, it just so happens that May 6th is the day before my birthday.
Right.
Which is why it's partially the birthday, which is partially why it's the birthday podcast, because both of our birthdays are in May.
Yep. So
yes, all you Western Hemisphere people, keep an eye out for it on the 5th. Eastern Hemisphere people, look for the 6th. And we will have special birthday treats for us, because we're cool.
Sometimes we need to pamper ourselves.
Exactly.
So our usual thanks goes to Moon Kitty for the information of our merchandises that we choose, and also for the travel locations this time as well. Sera Myu for providing information, including for the games, the video games. Wikimoon.org this time for more info about the trading card game.
And the video games. And some thanks this time for Let's Play SNES.com for having the raw map of Zen and Sanka for me to get the screen cap. And a huge special thanks to the lovely web owner of FantasyAnime.com, who hosts the Sailor Moon and Other Story Shrine that we got our screen caps from. If you guys want to know more about the game, that is an excellent source. It's got an entire plot summary of both gameplay and the plot itself. It's got special downloads like wallpapers. It's got sound files. It's got character profiles. It's got links to ROMs and emulators where you can play the game yourself. I really encourage you guys to check that out.
And of course, thank you guys for listening in. So we will see you in May, and we go let the short version of Princess Moon to play us out.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
昼には